Hey Cameron,
Yeah, Myles?
you ever heard of Dead and Breakfast?
Well, yeah, you've shown that to me before.
Oh.
But I know someone who hasn't seen it.
You guys know they can't see you staring at me, right?
Whoops.
We're coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. Coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. Coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. Coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. Coming to kill ya. I want a taste of hemophilia, a drop of thalassemia. I'll drink your blood if you got sickle cell anemia.
Hello, people of the internet. It's me, Myles,
And Cam.
and today we have a guest with us. Say hello, Gareth.
Hello!
So you should probably tell us a little bit about yourself so everybody knows.
Hi, my name's Gareth Villanueva. I am a friend of Doug's since
Or Cameron in this
early
case.
childhood, or Cam, since early childhood, and a friend of Miles for a couple years now. Hunting buddies, old family friends, lover of the outdoors, and
Horror film enthusiast.
horror film enthusiast.
That's why we're all here today, right?
Exactly. So now we know about Gareth, let's talk a little about what we're showing today. Today, I've decided to show, Cameron and I decided to show Gareth a good old movie, Dead and Breakfast. It's a 2005 movie about a bunch of friends who take a wrong turn when on their way to the wedding, and they get stuck in a little town called Lovelock, which starts a zombie apocalypse. It's a fairly unknown cast. Includes people like Jeremy Sisko, Eric Palladino, so on and so forth. Now, Gareth.
David Carradine's niece.
Yes.
Portia de Rossi, right at the beginning of her fame.
Yeah. Now, Gareth, did you like the movie?
I did, yeah. This is a movie I would recommend to certain other people. Obviously not suitable for grandma, people getting their heads cut off and stuff like that.
Hey
But-
now. Some grandmas like those types of movies.
That's true. If your grandma's hardcore, I know mine would not like that. But yeah, no, anyone that likes lighter horror films like Shaun of the Dead or lighter, more comedy-focused horror films like that would definitely appreciate this movie.
If you like your horror movies like you like your pizza, the cheesier the better, this might be for you.
God.
So we're going to go into some spoiler territory here. So we're going to use our usual music to pause and watch this movie, because it's really worth it, actually, in my opinion. So let's get on with this.
Well, three young couples were riding along. They had the directions messed up wrong, so they stopped in Lovelock to take a snooze. They were on their way to a friend's wedding. They had no idea what they were getting into. When through town, they happened to cruise.
Hello, everyone. So we're going to get on to this. We're just going to talk a little bit about the plot here. So 6 friends, well, not really all friends, but a couple friends and 4 friends and 2 cousins end up traveling in an RV to get to a wedding, and the driver gets a little lost, and they end up heading to Lovelock. They end up in the town fairly late, so they have to find a bed and breakfast to stay in. And they decide to stay at this guy's house named Mr. Weiss. While they're gassing up, we get introduced to one of the greatest characters ever designed, Randall Keith Randall.
God bless his heart.
Who is
And his music.
Yes. Who's the gas station attendant, mechanic, and musician. A musician,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean,
Bard.
Bard is pretty accurate to his role in the film, too.
Exactly. So, basically, when the group ends up getting to the bed and breakfast, they don't make very good first impression with the chef, and just get some rooms for the night. Mr. Weiss. David is doing some drugs and drinking. So,
As one does.
As one does after a big fight before a wedding. That should tell you plenty about his character. And a bunch of stuff ends up happening. I'm gonna skip over a lot of this.
Not good stuff, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
bad stuff. They end up getting almost framed for murder.
Yeah,
And-
I
can't
get
remember.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're outsiders.
They're outsiders, and the chef gets killed.
Well,
And-
plus, if I were a cop and, 5 or 6 assholes from out of town show up to a local bed and breakfast and suddenly both people that operate the bed and breakfast are dead and all the guests are totally fine, I'd be reasonably suspicious.
That's
Hey,
understandable.
you 6 out-of-towners who I don't know. Do you know why your 2 hosts are now dead? No, total coincidence.
Things just happened. Things just go bump in the night.
To be fair, I mean, this chef could have committed suicide. Stabbed himself 37 times and slit his own throat. It's totally possible.
That and Mr. Wise had a heart attack. So I mean,
the heart attack could have slipped through.
Yes.
The multiple stab wounds, a little harder to let slide.
Maybe he's a meth addict.
I don't know.
We
don't know.
We're fleshing this character out more than the writers did.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe we should kind of roll back a little bit, huh?
Since we're talking about the characters in cast, we might as well just continue on about the characters in cast here. So we got Ever Carradine as Sarah, David
Carradine's niece.
Yes,
Yeah.
David Carradine's
Like real
niece.
life niece.
Yes.
Yeah. She's playing the character Sarah. What would you say Sarah is?
She is the hyper competent one.
Yeah, the one, especially because you would never expect it of her.
Yeah.
I would say they had the only competent one.
I don't know
on how that movie went.
I don't know. I feel like the record keeper was pretty competent.
Oh,
yes. There are other people that are like competent in their own ways, but she's the one who just is like, she delegates, she comes up with the plan and everything like that. That's why I say she's hyper competent, because she just went above and beyond and was surprisingly good at like everything.
So then we got Gina Phillips as Melody, the vegan of the group.
Yeah, the non-violent, the quiet one,
Yeah. Eric Palladino as David, the Fonz of the group.
The drunken mess.
Yes, the Fonz of the group.
Ouch. Not a fan, huh?
Not really, no. Bianca Lawson as Katie. Who's Katie again?
She's the one who's with David. The
Jackie of the group.
Yes, exactly.
The Jackie Thomas of That 70s Show. I believe Thomas was her last name.
I can't remember what her last name is, but
yes,
if you know That 70s Show, you know Jackie.
Exactly. Jeremy Sisto as Christian. He's the douchebag skater, rock and roll guy, I guess you'd say.
He's the laid back one who I think is what you would think of as the Fonz, but is
dialed back.
Yeah. He's still kind of like has that I'm too cool vibe and is ultimately a huge jackass.
And Oz Perkins is Johnny. Johnny's the quiet one, the quiet creep.
They have a creepy, weird one that says a prayer for every little piece of roadkill he sees.
Oh, that's what it was that he did.
Yeah.
That's why he had the list. You
Right.
didn't hear that?
Well, I didn't remember exactly what it was that was why he had the list.
So another person that we didn't really talk about here, but apparently became kind of a big deal, is Portia
de Rossi.
De Rossi.
Portia de Rossi. The one who married Ellen DeGeneres and was Lindsay Bluth in Arrested Development.
Yep.
Technically, you could say she is the main driver of the plot, despite having probably a minute of screen time.
Right, because she's the cousin who's getting married, and that's whose wedding they're going to.
Yeah.
So she's there for like a scene?
Pretty much.
One scene.
Yeah.
Where are you? My wedding is happening. Thank you, Portia.
That sounded exactly like her.
Gold star.
2 gold stars. So, let's talk about the characters in general. Did you feel that they were fleshed out?
Not at all. They were, I get it. It's a lighthearted comedy drama. I shouldn't set the bar too high, especially because lots of the characters die pretty quickly, so you don't really have time to flesh them out. Where it's like, I'm Christian, I'm this guy, dead. Oh, I'm, this other guy, dead. Don't really have a lot of time to flesh it out when you're on screen for 30, maybe 40 minutes. And then it's like, what are your character traits? I'm drunk. And then you're dead. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. You were a guy. You were a guy.
I mean, let's be fair here. Christian dies pretty soon compared to everybody else, but everyone else stays alive for a long time.
Now, Cameron, don't lose your head on this one.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'll lay off a little bit.
Now, would you say you relate to any of the characters?
Oh, I hope not. You know what? The lady in the records room, okay? Because when I was young, I worked at a library. And, like, you know, a library would be a fine job. My sister actually has her Master's of Library and Information Sciences now. And I'm a little jealous because a library would be a good job. Because what do I like? Books. I could get paid to work with books all day. Instead, I go out and deal with aggressive coyotes and angry people in the woods. So, yeah.
To be fair, though, you don't always get to deal with the books. You have to deal with the people that wreck the books.
Oh.
Or the people that do other things that you don't want them to do in the library.
It's like saying, you know, I want to be a vet because I love animals. And then you realize, oh, you have to actually put animals down.
It's okay.
You'll just stick
wow,
to the
I
fact
can't
that
say
it's
anything
books.
non-incriminating.
Statement redacted.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say records room lady.
Yeah, okay.
You,
Cameron?
Cam?
Cameron is clearly the end is nigh guy.
Just a sandwich board all the time?
Who was my favorite character? Probably actually Randall.
Not necessarily favorite, but which one do you relate to?
Oh, right. That I relate. Then
Although you could still be a Randall because you sing.
Yeah. I'd probably say at that point either Randall or then it would probably be Melody. Probably just like kind of like standoffish, kind of quiet, at least when I'm around new people.
Well, I think you are a beautiful person, but you do not fit that because you eat meat.
I know. Like if we ignore the vegan part, right?
The vegan and the not killing part, sure.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, then that kind of like puts me in line to be Gina, and I'm not that competent.
Oh, you mean Sarah? Yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry, Sarah. Yeah.
That's okay. You could be David. Not totally competent, but still decent.
That's a good point.
You know what?
You're right.
Or the sheriff. You could be the sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
Or maybe the deputy.
I'll take sheriff.
So for me, I think I actually, I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but I feel like I'm Johnny after he gets possessed.
Wow.
Just the dark sense of humor.
Oh, unbelievably. I have
Playing with decapitated heads and stuff. And
my sense of humor doesn't know no bounds.
are you allowed in a morgue?
I was in a morgue. I'm not going to say anything about that, but I've been in morgues.
I was
I had
allowed
to work
once.
Have to say I'm not a huge fan of the fact that bodies will just randomly move sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Don't like that.
Yeah, you know, I'm sitting there and we're looking at this thing, being like, how are we going to keep this place cool? You know, the AC's not working right now. And then all of a sudden, you just hear like a little shuffle. You're just jump and turn around and you're like, what the hell is that? And you're just watching. You're like, are you going to get up? This is a joke, you guys. You guys are trying to pull a fast one on me, right? You're going to have one of your buddies laying down pretending to be a dead guy. Like, no, they just do that. And it's like, what? Yeah, the body just sometimes twitches if it's like, 48 hours after death. It's just something that happens.
It's natural.
It's natural. Don't worry about it.
No.
Oh, the best part, though, is the people that were working at the morgue that I was in, they refer to the bodies as their buddies.
See, now that,
They'll be like,
that's
got three
different.
bodies. I just got 3 buddies inside here. Don't worry about it. So.
I don't ever want to be in a situation where somebody says, I've got 3 buddies in my freezer. I'm going home.
Yeah, we don't want you to be in that situation either, Gareth.
We can't say that about deer.
Is a deer really your buddy?
Of course.
Okay. I mean,
he's
you're
giving
right.
up everything.
Yes, that's
he's a
right.
buddy.
That's right. That's very true.
Now let's stop getting so dark here.
We've lost half our listeners.
Yeah. For those of you still with us. So let me ask you a question here. Do you think that Johnny and Christian should get married?
Well, it feels a little one-sided because one of them is only... Well,
Johnny was inside Christian for quite a while there.
I know.
Had a lot of back and forth.
Miles. Ah. Ah.
So,
Just a minute of sighing.
Ah.
so let's talk about the dialogue of the movie. Did you think it worked?
Again, like I said earlier, it's not. This isn't trying to win any awards. It did what it was meant to do. It carried the plot. There were some funny moments, like some actual laugh out loud moments, which is like the point of these comedy horror films. Like there were a couple times where I was actually legit laughing, so that was good. Yeah, like it wasn't one of those films that makes you, confront your mortality or, consider the social implications of drifter society and homeless zombie movies, but...
I mean, we could absolutely do that with this.
We could definitely look way too deep into this, but again, the writers didn't, so neither should we.
Fair enough. I have to say I like the dialogue where at the end of every act, they have Keith Randall, recite what just happened and talk about it. And even when he becomes a zombie, he still continues doing this until his eventual end.
Well, that guy's got the hustle.
Oh, he does.
The ultimate Sigma male grind set right there.
I gotta say that his whole shtick is probably the thing that sets this film apart from others of its ilk.
Yeah.
It kind of elevated the film because, honestly, the dialogue, especially at the beginning, sucked. Or, I did not enjoy it because it was just so awkward, and it just seemed like the actors didn't know how they were supposed to deliver their lines. Like, they had really poor direction and just no sense of how things were supposed to go, and it just, I did not like it.
Well, would you say it seemed awkward?
Didn't I just say that?
No.
Oh, well, dang, I meant to say that. I meant to say that it's very awkward, and I did not like that.
Almost as if they just skipped the table read and were given their lines in the RV. All right, guys, in 3, 2, shit.
To be fair, though,
kind of.
It's really 4 friends and 2 outsiders, so they didn't really know how to be with each other. So, of course, it was awkward. I think they nailed it there because you don't really know who you are around people. You haven't really met them, especially at the ages I'm pretty sure they're trying to portray, the early 20s.
Well, if I was
didn't think about it that way. Okay, that changes things.
I was going to say, if I was with 3 of my friends, like you guys and one of our other mutual friends, and then, Doug brought 2 of his weird cousins along, and one of them is praying to roadkill, I would also be a bit awkward if I was stuck in an RV with them. Hey, guy that's praying to dead animals on the side of the road, I'm sharing your bunk, so please don't kill me in the night.
That is a very good point. I had not
The big question is,
I had not considered this.
Big question is, are you big spoon, little spoon?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? I'll be little spoon, 'cause it's always easier. Your arms won't fall asleep,
That's good to know.
It just sucks when your arm falls asleep and you have to roll over and wake them up. Yeah.
This is changing kind of my opinion of the first third of the film, which to me I thought was actually the weakest part of the film.
We're having an epiphany here.
I know, it's weird.
You get to watch it in real time.
Wow, nice.
It's a whole other shade of dark.
I guess that's one way to look at it. Instead of it being gray, it's just a more burgundy red or something. I don't know. More purple in it.
It's not just black and white. There's a little more red in it.
Yep.
Now, speaking
Red
of black
all
and white
over,
with
right?
red, what do you guys think about the production and the production design and the special effects?
Well, for me, one of my favorite parts about this film is that it did use a lot of practical effects. Just because we've all seen a lot of other movies from back in that time. The movie came out in 2004, you said, right?
2005.
Mm-hmm. 2005. So we've seen a lot of movies from 2005 that used CGI, and it has aged poorly. Think of the first Underworld movies, and you see the werewolves. It looks bad. What? Were you thinking the same thing?
Yes, I was!
So, because when you look at it,
how the heck did that happen?
You know what? Synchronicity. I've known you since we were 6. But yeah, because it's one of those things where, practical effects, like it's always going to look the same year after year. It's all just based on the quality of the makeup artist, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You get like your little latex fake scars and your oozing blood stuff, and like you can, like, the human eye is still really good at telling what is real and what's not. Like, the uncanny valley is a real thing. And when you look at practical effects from, you know, decades ago, it still looks pretty good to this day. Like, think of the old Dark Crystal movies from, like, remember the Dark Crystal from the 90s? Like,
I love those movies.
Did you watch the series on Netflix?
No, not yet. But don't say anything.
Okay, do watch it. But, like, because they brought back Jim Henson's team, and they still use, like, a lot of the real puppets and stuff. And, like, it looks good. It looks more solid. It's just better than, like, I'm sorry, it's better than any CGI is going to be, at least for a couple years still, because CGI now, it's better for, like, you know, the large, epic, grand scale battles that you can't realistically make. Like, I don't think humans are really good at, you know, making practical effects for space aliens, you know, nuking New York. But
and then you get, you know, Star Wars A New Hope, Carrie Fisher at the end of Rogue One.
Oh yeah,
right. Or what have you seen Rogue One?
Was that where she came back with her weird CGI?
Yes,
God,
yes,
that was bad.
Yes.
That was bad.
It's either that or Grand Moff Tarkin using Peter Cushing, who has been dead for like 25 or maybe even 30 years.
Yeah, that was very uncanny valley. And if Disney still can't do it right, then who could? But like, again, these guys using the practical effects and like using very minimal, especially like CGI or any of that stuff, that was the right move.
I really liked how they actually covered up, instead of using CGI, they just would show you a almost a comic book section, a black and white picture with a little bit of red, being like, hey, look, this is basically what's happening. So it's kind of giving you that, making your mind fill in the blanks and create that scene just by giving you one simple picture. As they said, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
And that was
paired, or in this
with
case,
Randall Keith Randall.
one possession.
Oh.
But you're right, it also gave us more time with Randall Keith Randall.
It did.
And like those two things combined, like the comic book scenes and the Randall Keith Randall, was one of the things that I think we all agree did help separate this from other films that were coming out around the same time.
Mm-hmm. Or even like comparing it to other zombie films of its type that have been made over the years. I mean, zombie films have been around for decades. The first Romero film came out in like, the late 70s or something?
Was that the first Dawn of the Dead?
Well, yeah. I think Night of the Living Dead is the first one that he did. But like the first one that he did, I'm pretty sure zombies have been around for a while. They maybe just didn't call them that. Like Omega Man or... can't remember what the heck they called the one that had Vincent Price in it. But, I Am Legend, right?
Yep.
Oh, Biohazard Man.
Well, I don't think that's what... Anyways.
Yeah,
even though those are vampires, they're still zombies as we know them, because that's the way they act. But those, are like from the 50s and 60s, right? So zombie movies have been around for a really long time.
So one thing that I will mention about this movie is the fact that the zombies that they use in this are not like the zombies that everybody's used to. It's not an infection. It's actually
it's a possession.
It's a possession. There's a spirit that inhabits one host, and then the spirit comes from a box. And then that box, anybody who gets put into the box becomes the zombie. And the only way to kill those zombies is to have them decapitated. You cannot kill the original host without this special ceremony and some other stuff. So the major point of the movie is these guys barricade themselves in the Dead and Breakfast. Mm-hmm. And then 3 of them have to leave to go get the bones of the person who died to perform the ceremony and kill the spirit.
Of course we have to split up.
Yeah, so they have to split up.
One of my biggest pet peeves in horror movies is whenever the group says, we need to split up. Everyone knows safety in numbers. It's a classic human thing. There's a reason why we gathered in communities to fight off wildebeests and lions and all that stuff.
It's the reason why the buddy system is
you play
so
Left 4
well
Dead?
known.
No? Okay, you'd hate me in Left 4 Dead.
do you leave everybody behind?
No. I explore the entire map very thoroughly as everybody tries to push forward. And I'm like, hey, I found some stuff for you guys here. And you're like, where the fuck did you go? Why are you running away? We were dealing with the tank. Oh, it's okay. I came just in time to kill it.
Although that's exactly like when me and my buddies play Warzone, because they'll always be like, we're going to stick in this one house. And I'm like, no, I got to go to my contract. And then, yeah, they get mad at me. But same idea.
Good old Warzone, yep.
So, I mean, yeah.
So
I
with
mean,
this,
you got to have the split up. It's just what's expected.
Yep.
But they split up.
They split up. They get the bones. Pretty much everybody dies except for Sarah, Melody, and the Drifter that came around. Unfortunately, we did lose Randall Keith Randall, and it's a sad, sad end.
Yeah, he didn't get to have a reprise for his thing about how a guy with two girls, and if only this were a different type of film.
Yeah.
You know he'd probably say something about that again.
Oh, yeah. So another thing to point out with special effects in that is that this movie was made in 2005 with a lovely budget of $500,000.
And keep in mind, probably a good chunk of that went to the David Carradine appearance in the film.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. I mean, you know, Portia Del Rey is like...
Portia Del Rossi.
Sorry, Portia Del Rossi. Probably not a real person with Del Rey. Like she hasn't really broken out yet, right?
Yeah.
So, and
That
everyone
was, like,
else
career.
in there, they're all like character actors basically. So,
Yeah.
show up, get your SAG $15,000 or whatever.
Who knows where Oz Perkins is now?
I think he's in that magical land trying to get the girl to Ruby Slippers out.
Oh.
Or, you know, he could be on the hot air balloon. That did happen.
Oh, jeez.
It's a great form of transportation. I think it's better than our LRT, but...
If only this had video.
Oh, man. I mean, it's still pretty great that everything they're able to do for so little.
Exactly.
And I feel like there'd probably be some people that would say, oh, it's pretty obvious considering, you know, like the blood and guts and whatnot. And I just sit there and I'm like, yeah, but you know what kind of movie this is, right?
Yeah, we're not looking for the greatest actor award here or the best special effects. We're just looking to laugh.
Right. But I mean more in the sense that, like, we're not making a war movie here or anything like that. We don't need to see, like, the actual effects of what happens when you shoot someone in the head with a shotgun. We don't need to see that.
We'll leave that for 1917.
Exactly.
So the movie was made for $500,000. Do you know how much it made box office?
Never actually got released like that.
Oh no!
Oh, really?
Yeah. As
So
far as
wait.
I can tell, there was no box office numbers or anything like that. I looked them up.
Oh. So this was
Ouch.
probably one of those things that, like, it probably went to, like, a couple art house theaters or something like that to, like, have, you know, for, like, their zombie festivals or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna
And then
put it
just,
on
like,
the
went
festival scene.
straight to DVD.
Yep. Actually, I don't even know if it went to DVD. It was probably
Oh.
Oh
VHS.
no!
Well, that's a good point. No, you would have had it on, like, VHS and DVD, probably.
Yeah, it was basically film festivals it was released at. It did actually make an appearance in 2004 in Calgary, actually.
Oh,
Calgary Film
Nice.
Festival.
we
Nice.
could have been there in 2004.
My sibling.
Oh, it
no.
was 2004, not 2005. My bad. I got my numbers mixed up.
Just a
Oh.
bunch of young kids that are zombie movie enthusiasts.
Oh, well, maybe 2005 was when it finally, like, came out on, like, you know, actual media, right? So you could go to Blockbuster and rent it.
Yeah, because it'll usually come out on the festival scene before it's released. to the
Yeah,
public.
yeah, and they don't base it off of the festival appearances because it's not released.
So since we're talking about festivals and all that, what would you guys rate this movie? Cameron, you first?
Why do you want me to go first?
Why not?
Why don't we get Gareth to go first?
Because your name is first on the screen.
Oh,
being-
fine.
I'm going alphabetically.
All right, fair enough. But then what if we go by bin? No, darn,
First
I still
name
have to
and
go
last
first.
name.
I'm going by
Yeah, I
I'm going
know.
by this very
I
strange
know.
system of characters. I believe they call it an alphabete.
By pretty much every system, you're going first.
I know. I know. Okay. So at first, so kind of like at the beginning of the episode of us talking, I would say I probably would have rated this like a 3.5 out of 10. I don't say that because it's like horrible and absolutely needs to like go in the bin. As far as I'm concerned, 5 out of 10 is bad for a film review for me, because that basically means that I like felt nothing about it. If it's like a 1, that means that I had like a pretty negative reaction, which is still good because it got a reaction out of me. So 3.5, I'd say kind of not great. You know, I don't watch a lot of films like this, so this is not really my jam. But then if we've been talking about it and there's been more stuff to kind of like change my opinion in a way, I gotta say like 7.5 out of 10. Yes, this is not, you know, this is not Citizen Kane, but this was entertaining, and my thoughts on the first third of the film being like really bad have changed quite a bit. So now I'm like, honestly, entertaining. I enjoyed my time. I will probably enjoy future watchings of this film at this time of the year.
Fair enough, but if this isn't your jam, then what else are you going to put on your graham cracker?
Who puts jam on graham crackers, Myles?
Oh.
That's what marshmallows are for.
Oh, so you like the musician Marshmallow. Got it. Once Gareth is done pinching his nose and dealing with my puns.
Yeah, let me bring it back together. Center. Ooh, centering breaths.
Center mass, just like there's.
What did my sensei teach me?
This is very, very.
Did your sensei teach you the thing where, like, you know, man, baseball's all wrong, man with 4 balls no walk?
Oh. How many children do you have? Legitimate and illegitimate?
Oh, I can't actually answer that. Sorry, man.
The lawyers are still hounding me.
I lived a somewhat promiscuous young life.
You lived a full life.
Very full life. I can die anytime, and I'll be okay.
This is
genetic immortality.
This has gone to places that we normally don't go to on this podcast.
You threw me in. I'm a wild card. For this movie, I'm going to give it 6.5 toes out of 10. The joke being that I blasted one of my toes off a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so this movie, I would say I have to consider it for what it is. It is a comedy horror zombie movie. So again, I'm not going to be comparing it against like Lord of the Rings or something. But
you're right.
It's
a Z grade film, right?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I would have said C, but okay.
Yeah.
Zombie movie. Got it. I got it.
But yeah, like, because compared to other zombie movies that have come out during the time, this one wasn't, amazing. As far as comedy zombie movies go, like, there's Zombieland, which was a bit better done. There was Shaun of the Dead, which was a bit better done.
Oh, but they have so much higher budgets.
But again, considering the budget, considering the fact that this movie did still get a couple genuine laughs, and considering the fact that this movie was, good for what it was, I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. It's a little above average, not amazing, but if you have the time, watch it.
Evil Dead. That's what I was thinking that this reminded me of. Evil Dead.
Evil Dead's pretty good. I would personally give it 2 out of 3 Randall Keith Randalls.
So Randall Keith then, right? Instead of Randall Keith Randall.
The most patrician of rating systems.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3, not 1/2. Randall squared Randall. Or Randall squared Keith.
But I mean, clearly you do like this because you're the one who always reminds me of it.
Well, of course. It's a good movie, and I do like my movies, and I like everything to have a lot of plot and a lot of background, but every now and then you do have to just zone out and enjoy something stupid. And in my case, I'm not a huge fan of things like the not Goldmember. Well,
are you talking about James Bond?
Austin Powers. I'm not a huge fan of that kind of comedy.
Oh, okay.
So to me, this is just that it's dumb enough for me to like, or it's smart enough for me to like, but not dumb enough for me to start to hate.
Yeah.
So it is one of my favorite movies in terms of a movie that I can just put on and not really have to watch, and I'd be okay with it because I know I enjoy it.
Yeah, you're not going to miss too many important plot points because there aren't many plot points.
No.
But I mean, as we seem to have discovered while talking about this...
To be fair, they did find the one plot that mattered, and that's the plot that has the Mr. Wise. Mr. Wise.
Yes. Yes, we did find his grave.
It's pretty gangster to take somebody's bones and use them as a weapon.
Yeah.
That sounds incriminating. Not that I would ever do it, but for film purposes, it is an acceptable choice.
Yeah, well, I guess...
Well,
wait, I forgot. That's not
when it comes to a cult, the weirder, the more things watch. So
That's true.
it's just like a horror movie. Except the audience is just a little stranger. Perhaps a stranger thing.
Okay, I think we need to stop. This is...
I'm about to get jumped over the table.
Yeah. I mean, I got a couple good licks in there too, just to like kind of even it out. But Myles, you must be silenced.
Bring on the crab.
I'm going to take this moment here to just again thank Gareth for joining us here on Have You Ever Heard Of?
No worries. I look forward to coming back for another episode one day.
Yeah, well, you want to tell us a little bit about, because you have a podcast too, don't you?
Yeah, very different feel than this podcast. I'm the host of the Ranger Gareth podcast, where we mostly talk about different kind of nature things in and around Alberta, and I'm going to be expanding my episodes over the next few weeks to cover more national climate and environmental wildlife issues. So check it out at www.rangergareth.com or find me on Instagram at rangergareth.
Awesome. I'm sure you'll probably hear us on there because we're outdoorsy people too.
Nice.
You know, that actually reminds me that we should have thought about the implications of doing seances on dead people and what the effects on the environment could be.
Technically, isn't resuscitating a zombie the ultimate form of recycling?
It's a form of recycling.
We're going to ponder that, and we'll see everyone next time.
I mean, it's a great workforce if you can afford it.
All right.
Johnny, stay away from that box. Said, Johnny, stay away from that box. Pretend it's a girl under 18. If you touch the box, it's trouble, if you know what I mean. I said, Johnny, stay away from that box. Don't touch it, Johnny.